If you are currently in your 40s, drop everything you are doing and listen very carefully. Because the decisions you make in the next 12 months will determine whether your 60s will be peaceful or disastrous. Your 40s are neither a warm-up nor a victory lap. It is a narrow window of time when you simultaneously have time, energy, and earning power. But this window is closing faster than you think. Most people waste this decade pursuing the wrong goals, solving the wrong problems, and hoping that the retirement issue will magically resolve itself. It won't. Charlie Munger spent his entire life studying how smart people make stupid mistakes, and he had straightforward advice specifically for this stage of life. Stop pretending that you have an endless supply of time. Stop treating your portfolio like a hobby, and start making decisions like someone who understands that compound interest takes years to work, and you have just run out of decades to waste. If you are in your 40s and feel like you are falling behind, that is a good thing. This discomfort is the beginning of clarity. If, however, you feel comfortable, be careful, because comfort in your 40s is usually the voice of debt and lifestyle, not wealth. Today, I will give you 3 moves that Munger would make if he were sitting in your chair right now. A 40-something man who has maybe 20 good earning years left and a chance to fix everything before it's too late. Before we dive in, make sure you like this video, subscribe, and join our team, because every week we build real wealth here using calm, boring, and repeatable principles. No hype, no cutting corners, just what actually survives when it collides with real life. Here is what separates your 40s from your 30s and 50s. In your 30s, you had time, but perhaps no income. In your 50s, you will have income, but less time and energy. Your 40s are the sweet spot where you can still earn aggressively. You can still recover from mistakes, and compound interest has enough runway to turn a decent foundation into serious money. But this will only work if you stop doing 3 things that financially kill most people in their 40s. First, living as if your income will grow forever. Second, thinking that diversification means owning 15 things you don't understand. And third, waiting for certainty before taking action. Munger hated all 3 of these points. He would tell you to live below your peak, own only what you can explain, and treat uncertainty as the price of admission, not as an excuse for delay. This is not a motivational speech. This is the mathematics of survival for people who have waited too long to get serious. Move number 1. Cut your lifestyle in half and double the surplus. This phrase will make you feel uncomfortable. Good. Comfort is expensive, and your 40s cannot afford it. Here is what I mean. By your 40s, your lifestyle tends to expand, absorbing every raise, every bonus, and every stroke of luck. In your mind, you are not living luxuriously. You are just comfortable. But comfortable is a code word for the phrase, "I have designed a life that requires me to earn at this level forever. Otherwise, I will be in trouble." This is a fragile setup. Munger loved robustness. Robustness means your life keeps working even if your income drops by 30% tomorrow. If this thought terrifies you, your lifestyle is too expensive. The solution is not to feel guilty. The solution is to take a machete to your budget and figure out what you actually value and what you are paying for out of inertia, for status, or out of exhaustion. Most 40-somethings fund 3 lives simultaneously: the one they live, the one they think they should live, and the one they are too tired to question. Kill 2 of them. Keep the one that lets you sleep peacefully, and save the money. Here is a brutally simple test. Take your after-tax income. Subtract your true cost of living, the amount you could live on for 18 months without drama if you had to. The gap between these 2 numbers is your surplus. If this surplus is less than 20% of your income, you have a lifestyle problem, not an income problem. Munger would say you are paying a tax to yourself every month and calling it life. The goal in your 40s is not to maximize income, although more is good. The goal is to maximize the surplus, because only the surplus becomes wealth. Income that turns into payments, subscriptions, and conveniences does not participate in compound interest. It evaporates. This is where most people in their 40s bleed out and don't even see it. They earn 6 figures and save 4. And then they wonder why the account isn't moving. The account isn't moving because there is no surplus. Fix the surplus situation, and everything else will become easier. In practice, this means 3 decisions that you make once and follow forever. First, cap your housing expenses at 25% of your gross income. And if you exceed this threshold, either increase your income or downsize your home. Yes, even if you love the neighborhood will not pay for your retirement. Second, eliminate any car payment over $500 a month. If cars are sucking money out of you, you bought status, not transportation. Sell it. Drive something boring for 3 years and let the savings buy you a decade of optionality later. Third, subscriptions and convenience spending. If you spend more than $300 a month on entertainment, delivery, and subscriptions combined, you are renting happiness instead of building it. Audit every recurring payment. If you don't remember signing up for it, kill it. If you wouldn't buy it again today, kill it. Even if it's only $10 a month, kill 5 of those subscriptions. And just like that, you found $600 a year to invest. Do this for 10 years, and you've just bought yourself a year of freedom at age 55. Now let me tell you what this is not. This is not poverty cosplay. This is not pretending you are broke when you are not. It is a choice to live like someone who values future freedom more than present appearances. Munger lived in the same house for decades. Buffett drives old cars not because they are cheap, but because he doesn't confuse spending with winning. You are cutting your lifestyle in half not to suffer. You are trimming the fat so the muscle can grow. And in your 40s, this muscle is your savings rate, your investment surplus, and your ability to survive a bad year without liquidating your future at a discount. Move number 2. Focus on quality, not the theater of diversification. By 40, you have probably heard the word diversification 1,000 times. You have been told to spread your risks, own a little bit of everything, and never put too many eggs in one basket. This advice is not wrong for people who don't know what they are doing. But if you have spent any time at all learning how business actually works, Munger would tell you that excessive diversification is protection against ignorance. And ignorance can be fixed. In your 40s, you don't have time to own 50 things you don't understand. You have time to own 5 to 8 things you understand deeply, and then sit on your hands while they compound. Munger called this the focus investing approach, and this is exactly how he and Buffett built serious wealth. They didn't buy an index hoping for the best. They bought great businesses at fair prices and held them through every headline, every crash, and every moment of doubt. This is not gambling. It is patience backed by understanding. Here is the shift you need to make if you are 40 plus. Stop thinking like a collector and start thinking like an owner. Owners ask different questions. They don't ask what is trending right now. They ask, would I be happy owning this business for 10 years if the market closed tomorrow? They don't ask what everyone is buying. They ask if this company has pricing power, low capital requirements, honest management, and a product that people will still want in 10 years. If the answer to these questions is no, you don't own it, no matter how cheap it looks or how loudly the internet is screaming about it. And if the answer is yes, you buy it at a fair price, and then you do the hardest thing in investing. Nothing. You let it compound while you live your life. You don't check it every day. You don't trade it because you are bored. You don't sell it because your brother-in-law told you about something more attractive. You hold it because you understand the business, and because time is the ingredient that turns good companies into great returns. Let me clarify what quality means in this context. Quality is not a cheap stock. Quality is a business with a long-term competitive advantage, what Munger called a moat. A moat can be a brand people trust, a network effect that gets stronger as it grows, a cost structure no competitor can match, or a regulatory advantage that protects the business from new entrants. If you cannot explain the essence of this moat in 2 sentences, you do not understand the business well enough to own it. This is a filter, and here's the thing. Once you honestly apply this filter, your list of viable businesses will shrink quickly. This is good. A short list of great businesses that you truly understand is better than a long list of mediocre things you bought because they were trending. Munger was ruthless with his too hard pile. Most ideas went into that pile. He wasn't embarrassed by it. He was proud of it, because avoiding bad ideas is more valuable than finding good ones. Does this mean you completely ignore diversification? No, it means you diversify across a small number of high-quality positions, not 50 tickers you can't even name. 5 to 8 carefully selected businesses, held for years, are highly likely to outperform 30 things you don't understand, especially after taxes and fees. And in your 40s, taxes and fees are not minor details. They are the difference between retiring at 60 and working until 70. Every trade is a taxable event. Every mutual fund with a 2% fee is a silent partner, taking 20% of your profits over a decade. Munger hated paying for activity. He loved paying for patience. Be the same way. So, here is your action step. Open your current portfolio. Write down every position. Next to each one, write a single sentence explaining why you own it and exactly what the business does to make money. If you cannot do this in one clear sentence, you are guessing, not investing. Sell it or spend the weekend researching it well enough to write that sentence. Then, for everything that is left, ask, would I buy this today at this price if I didn't already own it? If the answer is no, sell it. If the answer is yes, hold it. And set a calendar reminder to review it in 6 months, not in 6 days. In 6 months, that is the rhythm of an owner, not a trader. Traders pay fees and taxes. Owners collect compound interest. And one more thing. If picking individual stocks feels too difficult or too time-consuming, and you would rather own a simple, low-cost index that gives you exposure to hundreds of great companies without requiring you to be an analyst, that is perfectly fine. Munger respected that choice. The key is that you understand what you own and why, and that you are not paying high fees to someone to guess on your behalf. A low-cost, broad index fund held for 20 years beats most active managers, and it definitely beats the paralysis of inaction. The worst move in your 40s is not picking the wrong investment. The worst move is picking nothing because you are waiting for certainty. Certainty does not exist. Reasonable confidence and a long time horizon are enough. Move number 3. Prepare for the punches you don't see coming. Your 40s are a time when life starts throwing expensive surprises at you. Aging parents who need help, kids who need braces, tutors or college, a layoff that lasts longer than 3 months, health issues that weren't on the calendar, roofs that leak, transmissions that die, friendships that end over money. If you are not planning for this, you are not planning at all. You are hoping. And hope is not a strategy for people in their 40s. Munger loved the phrase, expect disaster. It sounds gloomy, but it's actually liberating, because when you expect disaster, you stop being surprised by it and start being prepared for it. Preparedness looks like 3 things: cash, clarity, and emotional resilience. First, cash. You need 6 months of mandatory expenses sitting in a boring savings account earning boring interest, not invested, not accessible through a line of credit. Cash. Real, liquid dollars that you can touch within 72 hours if the world turns upside down. Why 6 months? Because layoffs don't resolve themselves in 4 weeks. Because helping aging parents doesn't get cheaper, and a transmission and a roof don't negotiate. If you don't have a 6-month buffer, build it now, even if it means pausing your investments for 2 quarters. I know this sounds like heresy in a culture that screams, invest every dollar immediately. But Munger would tell you that survival is more important than optimization. You won't be able to compound your wealth if you are forced to sell your investments at the worst possible moment because you didn't have a buffer. Cash is not a drag on returns. Cash is the reason you will be able to keep your returns instead of liquidating them during a storm. Second, clarity. In your 40s, you need a simple written plan of what will happen when something breaks. If you lose your job, what is step 1, step 2, step 3? If a parent needs financial help, what can you afford? And what is the line you will not cross? If your kid needs something expensive, how do you decide if it's a need or a whim? These are not fun conversations. But if you don't have this conversation before an emergency, the emergency will make the decision for you, and it will be expensive. Munger was a big believer in pre-commitments. Decide in advance how you will act. Then, when the moment comes, you just execute the decision instead of making it under stress. Write down your rules. I will not take on new debt except for X. I will not drain my retirement accounts, except for case Y. I will not co-sign a loan, even for family. Whatever your rules are, write them down and review them once a year. This piece of paper is your emotional firewall, your emotional resilience. Third, this is the part nobody talks about. Your 40s are emotionally heavy. You are old enough to see the gap between where you plan to be and where you actually are. You watch some friends get rich while others crash and burn. You realize that your parents are not immortal and your kids won't be kids forever. You are tired in a way you weren't in your 30s. And the thought of starting all over again feels like a heavy burden. All of this is real. Munger wouldn't tell you to ignore it. he would advise you to accept it and then take action regardless. Emotional resilience is not pretending you are fine. It is the decision that your feelings do not have the right to dictate your financial choices. If you are anxious, you follow the plan anyway. If you are excited, you follow the plan anyway. This is not being cold-blooded. It is maturity. And maturity is the advantage you have in your 40s that young people don't use. Here is the harsh truth. If you are 40 and haven't started preparing for these punches, you are about to learn some very expensive lessons. People who coast through their 40s are either very lucky or already very rich. The rest of us need to be very prudent. Prudence looks like this. You keep your housing and car expenses low enough that losing your job doesn't become a crisis. You keep your career skills sharp enough to find something new in 90 days. You keep your relationships strong enough to ask for help without shame if you need it. You maintain your health in a state where you are not a ticking time bomb of medical bills. You keep your finances simple enough to explain on a single page. And you keep your ego small enough to admit a mistake and quickly correct course. Now let's talk about what you shouldn't do in your 40s, because that is equally important. Do not try to time the market. You have neither the skills nor the temperament. And even if you did, the effort isn't worth the return. Do not take on new debt to finance your lifestyle. If you can't pay in cash, you can't afford it. Do not co-sign anything for anyone, even for family. Love them, help them in other ways, but do not tie your credit to their choices. Do not ignore your health in pursuit of extra income. The emergency room costs more than the time you saved. Do not outsource your financial decisions to someone who earns a commission on your choices. Get advice, sure, but make the final decision yourself. And do not wait for permission, certainty, or the perfect moment. The perfect moment was 10 years ago. The second best moment is right now. One more thing. Do not treat your house like an ATM. I know the home equity is there. I know cash-out refinancing looks tempting. I know interest rates are still okay. Do not do it. Your home equity is neither your emergency fund nor your investment capital. It is your housing stability. The moment you start pulling money out to finance other things, you are adding leverage to your life. And leverage in your 40s is a bad deal. Leave the house alone. Pay it off if you can. And if you can't, just keep making the payments and don't touch it. Before I give you an exact 90-day action plan, let me pause and make sure you're still with me. If this plan hits you right where it needs to, and you want weekly no-nonsense breakdowns that keep you on track, stop for 2 seconds. Hit like, subscribe, and join the team. Then drop a comment saying, Plan 40 plus, and one thing you are cutting this month, because writing it down makes it real. I read everything, reply, and will highlight the best comments in future videos. Now back to work. Here is your 90-day sprint. Week 1. Calculate your true surplus. Income minus mandatory expenses. If it's less than 20%, you have homework. Write down your 3 biggest leaks and kill one immediately. Week 2. Audit your portfolio. Write a 1-sentence explanation for every position. If you can't research it, sell it. Week 3. Check your cash buffer. If it's less than 3 months, pause new investments and build it up to 6 months. Week 4. Write down your emergency rules on a single page. What happens if you lose your job? If parents need help? If the car dies? Keep this page somewhere visible. Month 2. Negotiate one fixed expense. Call your insurance, internet provider, or cell carrier. Get a better rate or switch. Take the savings and add it to your automated investments. Increase your automated contribution by 5% if you can, even if it hurts a little. Week 6. Have a tough conversation with your spouse or partner if you have one. Show them the numbers. Agree on the minimums, the surplus, the rules. If you are single, have this conversation with yourself in writing. Week 7. Update your beneficiaries, your will, your insurance. If you don't have term life insurance and people depend on your income, get it set up this week. Week 8. Cut one major discretionary expense for the quarter. A subscription, a membership, a habit. Redirect that money into your buffer or investments. Month 3. Reevaluate your career. Are your skills still in demand? If you lost your job tomorrow, could you find something comparable in 90 days? If the answer is no, spend 10 hours this month fixing that. Take a course, update your LinkedIn, grab coffee with someone in your industry. Week 10. Run a disaster drill. Imagine you just got fired. Go through your budget. What cuts would you make on day 1? Write them down so you don't have to think about it in the moment. Week 11. Check your progress on the plan. Has the surplus grown? Has the buffer grown? Did you stick to the rules? If yes, celebrate quietly. If not, diagnose the reason and adjust your environment, not your goal. Week 12. Write a one-page letter to your 50-year-old self. What do you want to be true in 10 years? What are you grateful to your 40-year-old self for? What do you wish you had started earlier? Save this letter. Read it every quarter. Let me tell you what will happen if you actually do this. You will feel poor for about 60 days. This is normal. You are not poor. You are redirecting resources from things that don't matter to things that do, and your brain hates change. Push through it. By month 4, you will stop feeling poor and start feeling clarity. By month 8, you will see movement in your account like never before. And you will realize the problem wasn't your income, it was your structure. By year 2, people will start asking you what changed, and you won't know how to explain it without sounding preachy. That is fine. Let them guess. By year 5, you will hit numbers that make you pause and think, I'm actually going to be okay. That moment is worth the boring years it took to achieve it. Here is what Munger would say if he were sitting across from you right now in your 40s. He would say, you are not late, you are right on time, but only if you stop pretending you have more time than you actually do. He would say, the next 10 years are more important than the last 20, because the next 10 are the ones you can still control. He would say, the goal is not to get rich quick. The goal is to get rich slowly, then stay rich, and then die with options. The way to do this: live below your means, own quality, avoid stupidity, and be patient when everyone else is panicking. It isn't sexy, it isn't complicated. It won't make you feel like a genius at a dinner party. But it works. It worked for him. It worked for Buffett. And it will work for you if you let it. Your 40s are not a second chance. They are the last clear shot you have to build something lasting before the variables start working against you. Time, energy, health, compound interest. They are still on your side, but the clock is ticking loudly. If you hear it, good. Use that noise as fuel. Trim the fat, focus your portfolio, prepare for disasters. and then sit still while the plan works. Do not let boredom, envy, or impatience tempt you into complexity. Simplicity wins. Boredom wins. And in your 60s, when your friends are panicking and you are calm, you will thank the version of yourself who made boring decisions in your 40s when it still mattered. Now open your banking app and do one thing before you close this video. Bump up your automated investments by 5%, or set up the first transfer into your 6-month buffer, or write down your 3 biggest leaks and kill one of them tonight. Don't wait for Monday. Don't wait for the next paycheck. Do it now, while your focus is sharp. The next video will be waiting. Your future will not.